understand that the energy that vibes off on each and one of us, the hub of the wheel is Eric and Mark. And what has to be looked at from that point of view is that, yes, I feel the energy is getting worn down. And I feel like somebody is saying that they're actually wanting to predict your failure. And I don't understand why. But if that's the case, you still can tap out that anger towards them. Or I had a woman and a man that sat there and wanted, well, let's put it this way. I was living in their head rent-free. I was the center of their universe because all they could think about was how they wanted what I had. And it was like, why? Why do you want what I have? You can have what you want. And they couldn't focus on anything else.
Thing, yeah.
And so I had to basically heal them out of my life. First I had to heal the anger that I had towards them. And then I had to heal other things that I had with them, which was growing up. People had territory issues, so I had to heal that. And then as soon as I got done doing it, they're gone. They're out of our life forever. And I didn't have to do anything. The universe took them out. It was kind of fun to watch how, not that their demise, but they did it themselves. They got everybody to be against them. And I didn't have to do anything. I just had to detach and let them go. So we're looking for more hosts and producers, as far as my understanding. And if you know somebody that would like to get in the radio business, then that would be awesome. Get a hold of us. We can contact Mark, or if you know Mark altogether, you can do that. But there's a lot of things that's very important that we could be doing. Now, as far as you were saying something, did you remember what you were talking about? You're going to leave me hanging in the wind.
About what we were just talking about, the expected failure?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there was that other station that had paranormal stuff that went under or whatever, and I wondered if any of those people had the thoughts that maybe this should fail, or this endeavor, or the thoughts about it, or anything like that, and they're putting that energy out there.
Well, let's look at that. Is any of those people putting that energy out there towards here?
I think they'd want a place to go.
It still feels like pressure. Too much to handle. So this goes back to when you're starting to birth something. Well, Mark should know this. Wife's had many kids. When you start ready to birth something, that you feel the pains.
Yes.
It's the bearing down. It's getting ready to deliver it. And then when you deliver it, and then it has to be babied and taken care of. And this is where it gets lost. Like I had put up and talked to this other guy that has his radio station, and I said, did you get to accomplish what you came here to do? The intention of why you created the station, is this what you wanted? Did you get what you wanted out of it? And if not, then continue on. It's not about you. It's about where, what else that has to happen. Because there was a drive. I know that with Mark and Eric, they wanted to do it because they wanted a space for this. Space for this can be done. Now it's working together. And they're tired because they're two people that are working really hard and to keep a 24-hour station going. That means that now it has to trickle down, and there's really no money coming in. It's all going out. So it's, what do you need to do to keep it alive? And so that's where we need to ask for more guidance.
Right, and I understand. I understand that to some degree because of the project that I had with the church that I helped nurture and create. And it's once it's birthed, then it's kind of like, okay, well now who's going to help take care of it? And when all of a sudden people start leaving, and then there might be one or two people, and then it's like, how is it being taken care of? And then the people who get burned out, and it can be a difficult endeavor.
So the card I'm going to draw happens to be, probably do a three card spread or whatever, but what is it? Now, see, the other company got, or somebody else bailed them out. Okay, well, here's the thing. It's not about them. You got billions of people on the planet, and they don't already have the billion. So there's our share. And so if we look at that, what is it? What part is it that we need? What does Sepia need to do in order to move forward? And the card is the number 5, and it's the Goblin card.
Goblins are born when you're wounded and something essential is lost in that experience. There's one. From that point on, as you forget your wholeness, they remain with you in the shadows. There, they remind you of what brought them into being by mimicking your own voice, tricking you into believing that you're unworthy, victimized, and unlovable. They hold you hostage through low self-worth, self-sabotage, and the feeling that you're lacking what you need.
Interesting. And because of this, I said, what do you need to look at? And it's, the idea is, now look at this one. These 3 cards jumped up. I said, what do we need to do in order to heal the goblins?
Ah, okay. Do you feel as if you're walking in circles, seemingly not getting anywhere? Consider the spiral that travels up and around. 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. Even backward movement helps you progress and reach your goal. You may need to revisit some of the places where you forgot to look for treasure. Another message is this: lessons need repeating for those who refuse or are unable to learn them the first time. Consider this another invitation to mastery.
So feeling in circles, and so basically they have to conquer and move through. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
All right. The second card is the Strength card in reverse.
And that says, when you see the Strength card reversed, pay particular attention to your health, for this indicates that your body, mind, and spirit need strengthening at this time. Exercise, rest, and proper nutrition are necessary to keep you in balance. Don't deplete yourself through overwork, as now is a time for building stamina.
And then this last card is number 2, and it's the Gentle Gardener, and it's reversed.
Do you harbor resentments? How often do you reinforce negativity by affirming lack and limitation? Every time you send out a desire for something but secretly harbor a belief that you're undeserving of it, you plant weeds in the field of your dreams. When the Gentle Gardener appears in the reverse position, she reminds you to be aware of any negative thoughts or selfish motives. She encourages you to step back and pay close attention to what thought seeds you send out into the world. Weeds choke the life out of your beautiful garden.
Okay. So, one of the things that I'm seeing happening is that, will the station move forward? Yes. Will it be a struggle? Yes. I see there's a purity that you want out of the station, to be family, no drama, don't need any trauma, working together. And some of the people that seem to be in your space happen to be those type of people that do all those things. Now, it feels like we need to move the energy from there to somewhere else. The movie called What About Steve? It simply was about this girl that was her own. She loved red boots, she loved crossword puzzles, she was smart, she didn't really have any friends. She grew up in the school. And what else do you remember about this, Jen?
She was in her own world, and I remember her parents were just hoping that she, I think it wasn't in her mom, find a man, because then that person would take her off of their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember that. So she was in the, it's a funny way to look at it, but, you know, she was in her own world, and, you know, I can definitely identify with that.
And what we're trying to tell you about this movie is that they bring it up that it wasn't until she started to chase Steve. What about Steve? She was crazy about this guy, so she followed him all over the place. And what she found out was it's not about Steve, it's about her. And then she ended up finding people that were like her. So we need to just change the cord that's to these people. And if I were to advise you, Mark, I would tell you to go to our webpage on mwreveal.com, look under Healing Tools, and look under cord switching, and literally remove their energies from you and take back your power and literally cast out, use the golden lasso, and cast out and find those peeps that are meant for you to, you know, to help you, to be with you, to move in that direction that you want to go. And I'm going to back that up and throw that out on the matrix and say that Sepia, if it is supposed to be uplifted, so be it, and then you'll start bringing in more people and listeners, and a way we can work together. So there's a lot of great shows, and I'm going to ask Mark, what active shows do you have on your station right now? Because it's a 24-hour station, but what's active? We know that Kiss Me, I'm Psychic, and so how many shows a week does she do? So let's talk about it here right now, and hopefully Mark will be able to, hopefully he's not attending to his children just yet, but he was here. Lots. Okay.
Of active.
Okay.
It's going to be one word.
Well, yeah. Well, he's probably got kids on his lap.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
Oh, my sister has a baby now, and so her signature on all her emails is typing with one finger.
Okay, so almost all primetime active, which is good.
6 to midnight.
From 6 to midnight.
Cool.
That
Almost
is
all
awesome.
primetime is active. That's
And is
cool.
that more than what you had in the beginning? Or, well, I don't say the beginning, but more than you had 3 months ago?
I would think so.
Lots and lots. Good. So the activity of people is coming. The shows are coming. So what's happening is that you're tired on your end because you don't have people to help you be around to make sure the show is up and running. Is that correct? Okay. So what we're asking for, and this is where we need to ask our friend up on the hill, because
we got a friend that hasn't worked in quite a few years. He was
taking care of his father, then he had to have his hip replaced, and the thing is that he used to be in radio.
He was a DJ at a regular station here back in the all the way from the 1980s through the 1990s. And I told him, I says, as long as you're at home and you got a good computer, I says you need to log on to Sepia and see what you can do to even volunteer to help out and learn,
I actually
learn the
sent some information, but we could really probably reach out, and if you really needed people that wanted to learn, we could probably contact colleges or schools that have, maybe in your area, that would want to earn an internship. Their internship is that they have to have a computer, and you will give them some of the stuff that you have, and you tell them how to do it, and so then part of their intern is to run some of the show for a couple hours, and who knows, you could probably do it that way.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so, see, I don't know nothing about stations. So, is he talking to us or them?
Well,
He's having
a dual conversation.
That's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as he can keep us straight.
Yeah. Well, again, there's some things that we can do. So we know that Sepia is growing. It's just now we need host. Well, who are those? That's us, ain't it?
Yes.
Yes, we are hosts.
So he needs more what?
Hostesses.
No. He needs more producers, right?
Yes, that's what you were saying earlier.
Okay, so
More
we need
programs.
more producers. And, I'm wondering, because I know this is totally different, but there's another radio show, and they're all into hip-hop and conscious talking. I'm wondering if it'd be too far-fetched for them to want to cross over to help out, to work together. They want to stay on the air to some degree, too. Who knows? But we'll see what God wants me to do. We'll go from there. Now, as far as Chris, it looks like he has...
He's taken a language class.
Yes, and if we can remember that Chris, we had just dissected a dream. Dissected, really? We were looking at his dream, and then
Cut it up and put it under a microscope.
Yes.
That's what we did.
And so what did he say there?
The dream I had, of the spirit I had, was about someone, a spirit, hearing and knowing my story. Come to find out someone...
Whoops. Hold on.
Wait for it. Someone I have known for years as a friend is a distant kin.
Ah.
Cool.
And he says he's going to have to take a while. He's going to have to learn
new language, and he's taking a class.
But yet he's motivated to do something.
And Mark's encouraging him that his brain will not explode like on some movie.
Oh, no, you won't. Do you if you really want it, it's amazing how much smarter you are. When you're in high school and in grade school, oh God, half the time you don't want to focus. But my mother and people that I know, when they got older and, oh God, I don't want to learn, I can't do it. And all of a sudden when they wanted to learn it, it was so much easier. They picked it up so much faster. It's because you focused, because you wanted it. It was the desires there.
That's awesome. When they say, I can't learn it, that's true.
Yeah.
Because it's that attitude.
Yeah, it's like Henry Ford says, whether you're right or whether you're wrong, or I forgot how Henry Ford says it. Get over there and see what that says.
You can have any color you want as long as it's black?
No!
No, that isn't.
That's not the, that's the same Henry Ford, but that's not it. It's that one right there.
Which one?
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead.
If you think you can do anything or think you can't do a thing, you're right.
If you think you can do anything and you think you can't do anything, you're right. Because it's what you back, it's what you support.
It's what you feed. It's that dragon that you feed. We were trying
than
to
just
drag into
being an active. You know what? The best time of the hours for you to learn anything is right when you're about ready to fall asleep and right when you're about to wake up. So just go ahead and push record.
Right.
Push
because your subconscious is the most
well, that's where all
open
changes
to
take place.
is
yes.
Your subconscious is
Impressible.
most active to be able to take in that kind of information, and if you want to program it in that kind of way, then yes, that's when you would be doing it.
And that's why we like students that look like they're falling asleep, because we can really teach them then.
Right, and I do a lot of youth work, and I tell the teens that it's okay they fall asleep during my session, because then that way they'll learn more.
Kick back?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll work for you. Well, you sure you want me to program you?
Yes.
Anyways, your brainwave is that you go into.
I guess.
They said that their teachers didn't appreciate the fact that I told them that.
No. But your brain waves go into a hypnotic state.
Reverend Huffle, our teachers did not appreciate when we came to school on Monday or Tuesday or whenever they went back to class and said, you know, our minister said it's okay that we fall asleep during class because then we're actually able to be more programmed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Disclaimer. The words and opinions of Jen Huffle may not be actually what she means.
Well, it may not apply to other
situations.
Fields, the other situations.
But what's important is your subconscious mind. That's where all healing, changes behavior, everything, all the learning takes place on that subconscious level. And you need to hit it at the peak points. And that's when you're the most hypnotic point, is when you're when you're watching TV and you're kind of like ignoring everybody around you and you're so glued at the TV set. It's very important. Those brain waves will pick up and actually record much better. So,
brains.
Yeah, there we go.
But you know those kids, when you were telling them that, all they heard is, it's okay to sleep, kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm very, and Kurt's like, because, but then there's another minister's like, I need to see your eyeballs, I need your eyeballs.
And just when you paint them on your eyelids.
Exactly. Yep. That's what eyeliner's for.
So as I drew a card for Chris, it's about encouragement.
Awesome.
You know, and movement.
Forward.
Forward movement and encouragement.
Cool.
So he's got, you know, he needed encouragement. We're giving that. He can do it. And what is the purpose for us to have to do this? And that is so that he can actually bond with stuff that he likes. He'll find a way that opens up his heart's desires.
Possibly blossom there.
And blossom, because it's very important. It's some area that he's believing in and becoming stronger with. And that's always good.
Well,
and it's a lot of times, a lot of people love to
interview Jen.
Scott Bates, welcome to the show.
Frick.
You know, I keep feeling like a one-hit wonder, but I know I'm not, because there's a lot of things we can do. But it's very repetitive, because most people don't realize that they... Why did I pick these deck of cards up?
Because I have my energy on them, like we should pick a card for what we're going to be talking about the next segment of the show.
All right, so in this case, Scott, I suppose you will grab
a card
and then tell me.
A wolf.
Using your instincts. Yes, instincts. What's your take on that, Jen? What does Swedenborg or the angels say about instincts?
Let's see. Okay, so the first thing that came to mind, I don't know that it comes from a theological perspective, is that we have it's kind of the nature-nurture, that our nature is that DNA or RNA coding that's part of us, and we will get back to that.
Oh, we have a caller.
We get after the caller. Hello, you're on the air with
Brenda and Jen.
You asked our caller, I am to oblige.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you.
Turn it up a bit so we can hear the caller.
Okay.
Watch out, it's real sensitive.
Yes. Okay.
All right. How can we help you? Not easy, is it?
Yes. You're on the air with us.
This has been a struggle tonight for me because I can't get a chat room.
Oh, how come?
I don't know.
Well, you know what? I can draw a card for that. Yeah, that's Karen. She couldn't get in. I don't understand
that's
why.
Karen. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize.
That's funny.
Oh, I recognize her area code because she's on the
yeah.
She's one of our crossovers.
Okay.
So let's find out why she can't get into the chat room. Let's find out why. Ooh, time to heal the ouch.
Oh.
Ooh, we gotta find out what kind of ouch.
Yes, what is going on there?
This is a time for great soothing of the heart, body, soul, and mind, as this card indicates that healing will be prevalent in your life now. If you feel drawn to study the healing arts, you'll be successful in developing your natural capacity to restore the others to your wellness. However, the message may be that you're being called to change your behaviors in order to heal the earth. And so on with that. But
Okay, so let me just see if it's a certain behavior, a certain attitude. So it's the RTJP, the right temporal junction parietal lobe, how you think other people think of you. So, how do you think other people think of you, Missy?
Oh, I don't know. Everybody says they love me and like me, but I don't know.
You don't know.
That did not answer your question.
We're good at that.
Okay, so let's look at this. I'm going to look.
I think
Yes.
they think I'm stupid,
Oh,
but they don't.
most
And
of the
I know
time,
they don't, but I think that they do.
Okay, so that is the particular behavior that happens, and it's part of that brainwave that interferes. Even when your best friend says, "Hey, you're doing a great job," you can't hear them. It's like you're supposed to say that. So we're going to look now. Why would she project it? And what age would she project the fact that she thinks people think she's stupid? 4 years old. Oh, it's one of those big ones that I have to heal. I've got it down to a little one, and is that nobody wants to hear me. So last night, this is funny, last night I'm like, I've got all these things I need to say, and I want to brainstorm with my husband, and somehow I can't do that, so then Jen's in the room, and then all of a sudden it was like, I have to heal the fact that I think nobody's listening to me. And I had crickets. They both were faded out, doing their thing.
2 minutes later, I had heard what she said. I can't describe why I was not able to answer her. It was 2 or 3 minutes later. She's facing the other direction.
I just finally gave up listening
on the computer, and I said, you said that you were looking at that you have to heal that nobody's listening to you, and I don't know why I didn't respond to that 3 minutes ago.
And so then I thought,
I don't remember you saying it at all.
That's even more awesome.
I made them both just split. And so I feel in a way that what I have to say nobody wants to hear. Why would I offer packages and classes if nobody's going to come? And it's familiar to me, and that's the familiar feeling I'm with you. It's like you don't think, like why I said I called myself the one-hit wonder. I mean, because it sounds like I'm repeating the same old story. But I am and I'm not. Another part of us is our bashfulness. I mean, I have the 2-year-old, you have the 3-year-old, and there's this bashful part of us. I'd like to know what made us bashful to some degree, because...
Well, nobody did listen. Nobody ever did listen to me.
Nobody did what with you?
Listen.
Nobody ever would. Well, would, not did. And nobody would listen to me.
Interesting.
And I know this. And I know that this is something I really, really, really need to heal in a big way. In fact, parts of this wound right here really hit home yesterday when I heard somebody say, you've been so, a lot of times, we're not talking about me specifically, but it fit me. We have been working so hard our whole lives to try to to keep from being what they want us to be,
right?
That we haven't been ourselves.
Right.
We've been fighting being what they want us to be, or the flip side, trying to be what they want us to be that we have ignored being ourselves. So when I was little, as far as I can tell, I must have just been a royal pain in the rear, and asking one of these kids that I'm such an info junkie now. How many things I'm into. I just have this need to know that I'm finding out in my astrology that it's all, where that's based. But I must have been a pain in the rear as a little kid, just asking questions one after the other. And I know how many times. I mean, I remember being told to shut up over and over and over again. Shut up, sit down, stop talking, you talk too loud, you talk too much. And that's got to drive people crazy where, you know, they don't want to listen to you anymore.
Interesting. One of the things I noticed is that the liver meridian is running hot, I guess. And that's because it's the excitement. You have all this excitement and you're told that you're going to have to suppress it because people don't want it or it's very frustration to others. And so you want to explore this and everybody else is suppressing it. So there's a part of you that has, the first time that ever you became bashful was not when you were younger as much as you were older. The younger part of you became, what do you call it, the awkward of, oh my God, I'm not going to do it right, and I'm always going to do it wrong. And it wasn't until you got older that you finally got to the point where you were bashful. You didn't even want to talk at certain things. You kept it, you grew a little bit to where you had just a very small group. And then when you try to expand, that's when it all of a sudden falls apart because you feel like, here we go again, the excitement of the energy coming in, and people don't want to hear it. And so that's why you're told to, if you feel like you're told to shut up, you've trained yourself so well to say, just shut up and sit down. They don't want to hear it. Hey, I use that line too. I still use it. Not as strong, but I still use it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. You know, I'll be on the phone with my mom, and I know when she was a shoe baby too, and I know when she was stressed out. I said, the other day, I said, yeah, you called me and wanted somebody to feed you a whole bunch of useless trivia that you don't really care about, so you called and listened to me talk. And she laughed because that's what she does. She calls now to listen to me talk, but she pays absolutely no attention to anything I say. It's like you talk.
Well, you know, that's a good point. A lot of people just randomly talk just for the sake of talking because it feels like they exist. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Now we got to get the rest of the people to understand it. Literally, they don't have any other life. There's no other excitement. There's nothing there except for what strikes them as part of the conversation. And, oh, I got that idea, you know. And then talking about it, and you realize sometimes it is just an automatic pilot. And they're talking. And you're like, oh my God, where's the damn shut off button? Because they don't even realize that they're in automatic mode. And they just want to do it for the sake of talking. It's part of having a conversation and being in the family and doing what you need to do. I mean, part of me was trying to hurry up and talk to my husband today, and, you know, we had to go through the pleasantries. I'm like, I am on a time limit, shut up, just listen. And he goes, he's like, oh my God, she's peeved. And I'm like, no time for chit-chat, shut. I need this.
Okay.
So, in the card that I drew before we spoke, I don't know how it fits, but Jen will read and we'll find out.
Okay, reverse. The magical map shifter card may bring you the opposite of what you seek. Perhaps you're in denial about your situation and refuse to see the truth. Or maybe you've been traveling down a path that has constantly led you to a field of poppies where you fall asleep and dream of desires that never find their form. To have the life you really want, you must match its vibrational energy and resonate with it. Sometimes our greatest hurts and disappointments are what awaken us to our need to shift to a higher frequency. Fascinating. You would have asked, do I listen to myself on the radio? Well,
is she just talking for the talking's sake? Do you know you're reading?
I think, you know, I'm glad that I can fulfill certain programs, and that may be one of them.
Okay.
I don't know
where's
how
the
this
iPhone?
fits.
Go.
No, I don't know where this fits. This is. I think I'm in that poppy field, like falling asleep.
Hold on. Is this your card or her card? It's something to do with something in common. Hey, okay. Now that we have you live, is there something that Jen's done that?
Right. I started freaking out when you said, "Do you listen to yourself on the radio?"
Yes. What did that mean?
What?
So even though,
yeah, that's something I think we need to talk about. Not that it's you know, anything that's embarrassing. It's just not. It's something we need to. It's more of a technique. It's something we should discuss off radio.
okay.
We'll do
Double
offline.
checking. Okay.
It's a helpful critique kind of thing.
Okay. Only because I can see Jen off in the distance, and we're like, but we're talking to her. Oh my God, we're talking to her. And I'm thinking that I want to communicate with you, but all of a sudden I think my barometer's going off. So now let's get your head out of the poppy field, Jen, and let's go back to Karen.
Something that you guys were talking.
I knew when I said that it was going to be the chance of being interpreted correctly through a chat mechanism is like less than 50% probably. So.
Feedback is good. It's different than criticism. Feedback is wonderful.
Yeah, it's feedback, but it's not show stuff.
She was like, "Oh my God, did I say something on the radio I shouldn't have?"
Well, that we've already crossed that bridge, so
we burned it too.
We burned it too. It was really fun. So I was resonating with something that you were talking about earlier about how we go into that self-correct from the people who conditioned us in our childhood. That we get into that self-correct mode, and so then we forget, like, who are we supposed to be, because we're not supposed to touch this, we're not supposed to play that, we're not supposed to talk this way, we're not supposed to do this, that, the other thing, and then we forget where's the development as to who we are supposed to be. It's a fascinating kind of
okay, so here's the thing, and you guys are absolutely right. But what are we going to do in this era? We're going to disrupt it.
Yeah,
and we're going to go through the yin and yang, and then within the truth is in the middle is the truth, okay? And so we're going to unlearn that we have to have all these rules in order to fit in society. So we'll preserve all the positive learnings. But then we're going to break free from that limitation so that we can go over on this limb, but we're going to take all the lessons with us so we don't have to go and do this teeter-totter, what we call life. We are coming back to the center. The biggest thing about why I teach what I teach is so that we can create closure. And it's the simplest things. Like what she was doing is talking about is that I would say, all right, we know that, you have to behave and you have to do it this way. And she has got this program where she's got to correct herself and say, oh, just shut up and sit down, nobody listens. First of all, I would tell you to do thought management healing tool. Kick that person out of your head.
And maybe it feels like there's more than one, there's going to be more than one voice in that thought management, but it feels like there's like a whole entourage of teachers, or I don't know if you did dance teachers or piano teachers, or...
So you're going to kick them all out.
All those extracurricular kind of, any scouts, anything from church, or however, whatever. And you're back on the air.
So what is interesting is that we got to talk to the caller a little bit longer, and what's important is feedback. So some of the feedback we got was that she says she's trained herself into listening, the caller did, listening to when a certain tone of voice is like whether your heart's in it or not. And I said, oh, you're listening to her heart. And so I muscle tested her. And so I said, Jen, do you want to do this for a living? Yes, her heart's into it.
Finally.
I said,
yay,
which is huge. I said, Jen, is your heart into promoting yourself? And it was no, because the two things, that magic card that I had drawn, the upside down magic card, between caller and Jen was simply sit down and shut up. They were told not to promote themselves, not to just get up and be happy in that excited energy of the liver meridian and just say, wee, this is me. So that's what I find in common. So as this unfolds, we're beginning to learn more about it.
And my cousin, who is a professional coach, life coach, I can't remember what his official title is, really tuned into that. I was in theological school, and he said, I really want to help you, and that's something that we need to pay attention to. And it is, I don't feel like I have an accent, but obviously I do. And now that we're doing this radio thing, people are probably going to hear it more because we're talking. But it is my Southern California accent. And there's actually a technical term for it called vocal fry, where it's that sing-songy kind of like, and I
Valley girl.
Not valley. I was raised by the beach, and there is a distinction.
Beach girl.
Beach girl.
As
which
opposed
is
to
different.
Beach Boys.
She's gonna smack
love people who are not from Southern California in my heart of hearts. Darn it. But it is that accent. And so that's interesting that now we're able to recognize when it's kind of coming to surface. And it's at these moments where, yes, maybe I actually need to be taken seriously.
Something else that come out of this is that you take the idea of goth. And I was watching...
I was punk, not goth.
That's right.
Okay, but still, just listen and bear with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I totally will do that.
You
Now
quit
listen.
dropping your earring.
Oh, I dropped my earring again. What the heck's wrong with that ear? Okay, it's a sign. We're not hearing something.
There.
Yeah, it's a clue. I keep dropping it. Okay.
It's a clue, Karen. I love you.
All right. The Big Bang Theory. In the Big Bang Theory, we have... oh, crap. No, I can't remember what I was talking about.
Sheldon.
Big Bang Theory, goth.
Oh, goth, yes. Wallowitz goes and pretends he has tattoos and he's going to go pick up the goth girls.
Right, he's
Yes.
he's
and
so
he's got
hardcore.
goth dinner and goth language, goth music and goth this. And the one girl drove me crazy because they had her in the show. Oh, I'm so-and-so. Like, anybody cares about me.
Yeah, I remember her.
And
If
so
anybody cares.
If anybody cares about me.
It's like, I'm here if anybody cares. Yeah,
Yeah,
when
she'd make
all the
comment.
guys pay attention to the other girl.
And then she would always say, if anybody cares. And so sometimes you don't even pay attention. That is part of the way you talk. Okay, and you're really putting it out that you don't care. And so you said you're punk. Mm-hmm. So does punk have a way to talk? Or just run scared because you're going to be...
I think that there is. I don't. It's so funny because I grew up punk. I don't identify that.
Okay, she said yes. So what do you know about punk?
It's fight the system kind of language.
True.
Stick it to the man.
But you can take a lot too. Because of the head banging and loud music and all that, there was that, you can take a lot.
Right, it's a rough environment.
Right, so how much do you have to do before you can become what you want? You can't. You have to always have a rough environment. You always have to have that.
Yeah.
I don't know what Mark said.
Oi. Yeah, he said a punk show. But shoy. Punk show. That was something that they,
Okay, he knows.
Oh, the dead Kennedys. Awesome.
Anyways, okay, so going down memory lane there.
I love that era.
They
were like so cool. Anyway.
And apparently I missed it.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so what the card, so going back to this healing, what the card says to do was there was something in them that would cause you to keep making something repeat, and it stops you from growing. You have all grown from that particular era. It is part of your foundation, but what is the behavior you took with it that you no longer need or no longer want to repeat? Think about it.
Okay,
First of all, you're supposed to be shut up and sit down. Happened to be something that you and her have in common.
Oh, well then the punk would be would be going against that. The people that said to do this, the punk is in rebellion of that. No, we are gonna fight. It's the fight back kind of thing against the people that said sit down and shut up.
You're gonna do
it. That means standing up and raising our voices. We'll do it.
Yes, and here's the thing. Does it have to be a fight? So the one thing I first had to teach Jen was that you have to make sure you have to stop seeing them as your enemy. Because if you do not stop seeing them as the enemy, you'll never get into the balance of the yin and yang. You're going to constantly be top heavy or bottom heavy, whichever you need to look at.
Depends on which is more attractive.
Oh great, turn it into a good. But it causes you to be out of balance. Okay, so what behavior, and it's not that it's bad, but it is looking at something negative and then that motivation that you have to fight. Alright, so is that it? That's it for Jen, and I'm going to check with her, and it is with her. So if you're going to heal this...
The problem that is common with lots and lots and lots of people, you know, as you were talking, I'm reminded about my own Reiki teacher who was, you know, the emissary of our clergy group, you know, started our clergy group, blah, 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 does a lot of public speaking, but when she gets in front of a group of people, her voice changes from something similar to what I sound like now to, well, glad to see everyone here tonight. She's got a smiling face, and she's just this sweet, sappy, sugar-coated, little girl-sounding thing. Almost. It's really strange. But it has to do, I think it has to do, and she and I talked about it before too, her level of confidence. And she stands in front of the group and she smacks one foot against the other. Nervous thing that she does. So, it's common. But
okay, so one thing is to unplug from the matrix. There's way people have processed and learned to be addicted to certain things, to overcome certain things. And for you and Jen, I would say that you would both need to do R2D, which is the spleen meridian, because it is learning to attack back. You know how to feel attacked. You guys are really good at knowing, hey, is that correct? You guys know how to feel attacked?
oh yeah.
Oh, yes! And so you could write a book about it. So that means that you could be putting your little hand on the R2D and really talking about and getting into how much this has gotten under your skin, because that is your whole foundation, and it's not holding up what you want, which is the addict or your future, so you're not really going to get anywhere. So
is that how I am mean and stupid to myself?
oh, let me be armed. Why, yes, Jen.
All right.
Yes. And the thing is you where's your cause? Where's your motivation? And that's why sometimes the days you get out of bed and you're like, I can't feel like I'm motivated. Well, it's because you're looking for some attack, but then you also don't want to be attacked, but you're also tired of holding up that guard.
Yes.
Okay, so like,
oh boy, you just said a mouthful.
yes.
Yes, she did.
Now look at this. The president's coming up. Somebody's going to have to be voted in, and you're going to have, and then there's all this controversy, and so it's really a playing field where you can protest, be angry, fight back the system, be pissed off, say what you need to say, but this is also a really good field where you can hold R2D and really let it rip.
Look at everything that's in my newsfeed.
Yep, yes. Allow yourself to use a healing tool if you're going to do it. This way you're going to resolve the issues, and the inner world will create a better outer world. Okay, does that make sense?
Absolutely. I just wonder when I'm going to graduate off of 5-2D. It's like, that's the only place I've ever had to hold.
Well,
You can heal. I love you.
Well, it's part of that. The next part is, see, right now, feeling attacked or being attacked or creating an attack.
If that's such a huge part of your foundation, oh my
But it's
gosh.
not just a foundation. It's your cape. It's your cover. It's the top layer on a Band-Aid. It's not even getting into the core of it. Because the core of it simply is that you hurt. But you can't even get to the hurt yet because you're not going to let anybody see your boo-boo. Because part of that distrust. Have you ever had depression, Karen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And the thing is that there's a deep hurt. Now, the reason that you have all of this protection is that it actually helps you. Anger helps you get over fear. And the depression, anger, you get out of depression. So there's this vicious cycle that you're afraid, and if you, all of a sudden came Southern, if you're afraid, then what's going to happen is it's going to eat you alive, and it's going to swallow you up, and you're not going to be able to survive. And so stop it. I can't make it stop. Okay?
She gets into her frequency.
I can't make it stop, so I'm just going to go with it.
Go with it, Scully.
So, when you go ahead, so look at how,
That's a good band too.
stop it guys. So you have to pay attention to how, oh my God, get my voice back. You need to pay attention to how you have to protect yourself, because you do not want to go back to that aha moment. And so that means that you have to do the back door. What else can they heal? So they can heal away, stop that. They can heal that away, and that is fear. So ultimately, I would take turns, and I would go to L3D, and that is to hold the fear of, oh my God, I do not want to go back to depression. Oh my God, I don't want to go back to that. And literally start to pull out, just like the storyline. I know what it is to be depressed. Doesn't mean you have to go there. But just kind of start looking at what happened when you were depressed.
Or what were the triggers?
Mm-hmm. And then the whining. Whining has a lot to do with that button too, L3D. Because whining, Jen, is what?
Anger coming out of a small little hole.
Yeah. So, but both of you carry bad memories.
Yeah.
And it's the bad memories that I would say that when you hold L3D, it's just the bad memories. And first, view them as your disassociation, which means it's like a story playing out in front of you. Okay? And when you finally get to do that, start noticing that eventually you'll look through your own eyes, and that'll be the scariest part, because you don't want to. But slowly but surely, once you start to heal that bad memories, then all of a sudden you're going to have your strength back, and you'll be all of a sudden those bad memories will start to fade. But take your turn between R2D and L3D so that you can balance yourself out, or else it's going to be a cycle where you're going to have to go back and you're not going to get anywhere. But you will with Hope Therapy, you will, because you're just going to be doing it like little chinks at a time, though. And we haven't gotten to the foundation, but if you can allow yourself to just start chinking it away at the L3D part, you will then start creating a foundation where you can turn around and have armor on to fight the rest of the stuff. Because you both have had to conquer. You both have had to go out and conquer. Go out and look at your shit, conquer it, and be triumphant. Take no prisoners, but there's a part of you, both of you, that you're both tired of it.
It'd be so nice not to have to do that.
Yeah, and it'll happen. So how often do you feel like you do this? I mean, like, think of your thinking patterns.
Do what specifically?
Like, for instance, if you're on Facebook and something strikes a chord, like with this political stuff, immediately you know that's going to be R2D because
They
you're
ain't
going to fight.
taking Big Bird down?
Yeah, they ain't taking Big Bird. Right. But at the same time,
Gonna have a Big Bird dinner.
it's that excitement. It's the excitement of feeling alive that you have to fight. It's like you have to get prepared. I would then hold, really? Okay, you would hold R2D, but you would also just feel the excitement. The excitement that you get to be you, but you can't really be you unless you show it in a mask, which is to be angry. Let's take a look at that just for a moment, what I just said. Will the real you stand up? But you have never really been able to get to the real you because you've always had to put a mask on and fight, because if you didn't, then the real you that got seen would always get shot down. So the only way you could really show yourself was hide. Do you understand what I'm saying? Either one of you?
Well, you know, if the truth was told, I'm coming to the conclusion that I don't have a clue who I am.
We'll find that out for you. Just start healing this way, and the true part of you will start to come out. We have just like less than a minute or so left, and I want to thank you, Karen, for chiming in with us, and thank you, Chris, and everybody in the chat room. We appreciate it. We'll be here on Friday. Oh, wait, you're going to be here this Friday, Jen?
Yes.
2 to 4.
2 to 4. Okay, so we have to say goodbye, and Jen, go ahead and play the outro, because we have to do it. We have to learn to do it a little bit sooner than we normally do, because that clock's wrong.
Okay.
All right.